Modern Indian History series, and in this lecture we will discuss India on the eve of British conquest. Here we need to discuss how Indians were dealing with Britishers and what kind of internal and external challenges were there in front of the Mughal Empire. So I hope I'm live and it's working fine. Let me know. I can see you guys, I can see your comments. So I'll just start the session in few minutes. Let me just check if it is fine or not. How many of you have seen the last class? Tell me honestly, you have covered it. Great. So you must like the video, like it, share it, and please be regular in the class because it's very important for your Spectrum series, right? So now, as we have discussed that we are going to cover the India on the eve of British conquest, before I start with you, I need to discuss few points that when we are talking about Mughals, see, they are part of your medieval Indian history also and modern Indian history also. Why is it so? See, Portuguese came before Mughals. Portuguese came in 1498, but Mughals came in 1526. Right? Babur came in 1526. So, from the first battle of Panipat, the journey of Mughal Empire starts. So, Babur will be there in 1526, but Europeans came before the Babur, right? So, now it's a very complex thing to understand that which should be there in medieval Indian history or in modern Indian history. So you need to understand, see, history and the study of history is not something which is divided as a time frame. Okay, a line which you draw on paper and just make a separation. It's not separated like that. It's a, discussion for a period of time. It's a continuous development and evolution, right? That's why you need to cover the Mughal Empire in the medieval Indian history. That's the part of your medieval India, and that's why I'll not cover it here, but I'll give you a short glance. Okay, so we will cover the Mughal history at a glance so that we get a good idea of modern Indian history. But later Mughals are part of our modern Indian history because when Britishers came and when like Farooq Siyar gave the Magna Carta to Britishers and the way they started misusing dastaks and how the pressure was there in the first battle of Plassey, and then how there was the battle of Buxar. So we need to understand that all those pressures were there during the time of later Mughals. That's why the journey of later Mughals very very important. So I'll make a chart for you. This is a timeline on the basis of which we'll make a chart, and I'll give you few important key points which are important for your exam. That only you need to remember. Like what kind of key points I'll give you. For example, let me just explain how we will go. Like if I talk about Bahadur Shah, Bahadur Shah was the first later Mughal ruler. So you need to remember only two key points about Bahadur Shah. Okay, first he used pacifist policy. Okay, he used to follow pacifist policy, peace policies. Okay, and second, he released Shahu. Okay, so you just need to remember few keywords when we will talk about Jahandar Shah. There you need to remember about the Izara system, which was introduced by Zulfikar Khan, who was the finance minister of Jahandar Shah. Then about Farooq Siyar, we need to remember what, that Farooq Siyar gave Magna Carta to Britishers. Then Rafiud Darajat and Daula are not important because they were opium addict and they died very soon. They ruled only for few months. That's why they are not important. Then we'll come to Muhammad Ibrahim. He is again not important. We will discuss Muhammad Shah, who is also known as Muhammad Shah Rangila. And during the Battle of Karnal, he was there. So we will talk about his luxurious lifestyle. Then Ahmad Shah Bahadur is again not important. Alamgir too is important for us. Shah Jahan third and Shah Alam 2 are also not that important, but Shah Alam 2 is going to be important for us. Then Akbar Shah 2 and Bahadur Shah 2, who was there in the revolt of 1857. So, if you'll talk about the Mughal history, no, a lot of things are there to know and discuss because, see, it's a detailed history, it's a very big topic. But you don't need to go into that detail because, see, they'll not ask you questions from Mughals in the modern history. A part of the Mughal history which is there in the medieval part, the early Mughal history, that I'll discuss with you in a very brief perspective, because not important. And I feel like you will be doing it in the medieval Indian history class. But as I promised you guys in the starting of this series, that I'll connect all the dots for you. I'll not leave anything. You don't want to miss anything. And that's why I connect the medieval Indian history with the modern history for you. So, just to establish that connection, I'll discuss a brief history of early Mughal rulers. Okay? And then we will come to the later Mughal rulers. Fine. Now, let's start with Babur. Just listen. You don't need to write it. You don't need to memorize things, and don't do that rectification thing. Just understand the idea, because all these concepts are there in your medieval Indian history class. So when we will do the medieval Indian history after completing spectrum, we will start other books also. So there we will come to that detailed history of Mughals. But now understand, in 1526 what happened was, there was a battle of Panipat. Now, whenever you read the history, the question should be why? Why the Battle of Panipat was there, and why in Panipat only? So there was a question in mains, that why battle happened in Panipat, because Panipat was a very strategic location. It is very near to Delhi, so to keep the capital intact, it was a very good battleground. And because if any of the invader coming from the northwestern India goes from the passes, or comes through those mountainous areas and terrains, then they will get a plain area, which was Panipat. Also, during the rainy season, you'll see that this area is very well drained, so nothing would be stuck here. Arms and weapon making, factories were nearby to the Panipat. So if any of the party want to replenish their weapons, they could easily get it in the area of Panipat. And also, it was a very open ground, a big open ground before you enter the capital Delhi, and that's why it was always used. Now, because of its strategic location, Panipat became a battlefield. The first battle of Panipat in the 1526 was between Ibrahim Lodi and Babur. Why Ibrahim Lodi? Because Ibrahim Lodi was very, very arrogant. Okay, and that's why Daulat Khan Lodi invited Babur to defeat him and teach him a lesson. So, because of his arrogance, Ibrahim Lodi lost this battle, and then Babur initiated the Mughal Empire. Now, the rule of Babur is very short, right? Only for 4 years. So, it's not possible for him. It was not possible that time for him to initiate any art and cultural activities. So, you need to connect the art and culture here, that why the Akbar's rule is known as the golden period of the Mughal history. Why not Babur's or Humayun's? Because during the time of Babur, he started a very good foundation, so he was just taking care of that. He was not able to expand a lot. He was not able to initiate new experimental things in the art and culture. So that's why his only role is to create a foundation. After him, Humayun came. Now, Babur was also promised by Rana Sanga that when he will come to India, he will get help from Rajputs. But he didn't get any help. Okay, so that's why they became very much against Rana Sanga, and they raised wars against Mewar also, which we will see later in the history. During the Akbar's time, there was a battle of Haldi Ghati, right? So Babur's period is not important, only if a foundation was laid. Then Humayun is very important for us, not because he was a very good general, but he had a very nice attitude of not losing the faith. This is very important. So here you see that his rule is in two parts, from 1530 to 1540, and then again from 1555 to 1556. So, in the first phase, he was always disturbed by Sher Shah Suri and his brothers. Okay, and if you remember, in the last class, we discussed about Portuguese also, who used to back Bahadur Shah of Gujarat against Mughals. So, Bahadur Shah used to fight against Mughals again and again. The ruler, Bahadur Shah from Gujarat, who used to be in friendship with Portuguese, right? If you remember, he gave a very important port to Portuguese also, which I told you in the last class. I want you to write the name of that port in the comment section. And for hint, I'll tell you, the port given to the Portuguese by Bahadur Shah of Gujarat was A name starting from B. Okay, it starts from B, letter B. Tell me, what was the name of that port? We covered it yesterday. I showed you in the map also. So I want you to remember that. And later on, that port was recaptured by Marathas from Portuguese. Do you remember that? Thank you so much, SV. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Mabin Shan and Ashraf. Great. So, the right answer is Bassein, right? The port of Bassein was given to Portuguese by Bahadur Shah of Gujarat. Why? Because Portuguese used to back Bahadur Shah against Jahangir. Oh, sorry, against Humayun, against Mughals. So when Humayun was busy in fighting with Afghans in the eastern part of India, he was getting disturbed again and again. His throne in Delhi was very unstable. And then he was also disturbed by his brothers. Ultimately, what happened that he got defeated by Sher Shah Suri and he went for exile. He was underground for 15 years. So from 1540 to 1555, we'll see that Humayun is hiding. He is nowhere in the history. He was underground. He was in exile. It was in voluntary exile only, and towards his way to Sindh, he met Hamida Banu Begum, and then he got married with Hamida Banu Begum. They stayed in the court of Amarkot, which was a Rajput state, and in the Amarkot, Akbar was born. After the, after the birth of Akbar, Humayun decided to initiate the, capture of Delhi again, and he got help from Iran, and he came back. And in 1555, by the time of 1555, Sur dynasty also got declined in India, and he was able to defeat his brothers and get back all the territories with his throne again. Now, the Mughal throne was regained from 1555 to 1556. Only for 6 months he was able to rule because he died from the by falling from the staircase of library. So we can see that his destiny was not very good, right? He had a very disturbing destiny that he was not able to rule peacefully in his life. After him, Akbar came. So, Akbar during the second battle of Panipat, see, the first battle of Panipat was by Babur. In the second battle, Akbar will, again reinitiate the glory of Mughals by defeating Hemu in Delhi and then again starting the new phase of Mughal history. So he ruled for almost 50 years, and that's why his rule is known as the golden period. Now, understand how the art and cultural development happens in any of the state. Okay, not just in India, in any part of the world, there is a simple logic and rule. If there is a ruler who is very tolerant and if he is able to rule for a long time, then only he can think about a all round development. And if that ruler will try to do a all round development, there he will connect the art and cultural development also. Otherwise, it's not possible for a ruler to rule peacefully, or for a short time and then initiate a few developmental activities. So that's why Babur and Humayun, as they were politically disturbed, they were not able to do any art and cultural development. And remember that there is a simple rule that polity is the guardian of economy. So if you have a stable polity, then only you can have a good economy, right? So polity is the guardian of economy. In a country where unstable polity is there, there is no chance of having good revolutions and developments. Like why industrial revolution was there in Britain? Why it never started from India? Because India was not politically stable. If you talk about French, French area, there was French Revolution going on. In America, American Revolution was there. So other areas in the Europe, in Russia also Russian Revolution was there. So because of all those revolutions, rebellions against monarchy and instability in the polity, those powerful European countries could not start the industrial revolution from their country, but Britain was able to do it because of a very stable polity. So polity is the guardian of economy. And then economy is the guardian of culture and society. Basically, economy will guard your society, and the society will guard the culture, right? So this is a never ending loop, and if the culture is fine, it is having a good development, it will glorify the polity also. Like today we are very much liking the western culture, people like the western culture or the westernization. The influence of westernization is everywhere. Why? Because western culture is considered superior. Why? Because the society is developed. Why it is developed? Because economy is very prosperous. And why it is prosperous? Because of a stable polity. Like in India, we have a good biodiversity, we have a good culture in India. The Indian culture is so vast and amazing, so colorful culture we have. But still, the Indian culture is not dominant in the world. Even in the minds of Indians, we don't follow it very nicely and heartily. We are not very sincere about our culture. Sometimes we don't follow it very nicely and we don't respect it the way it should be. Why? Because overall, the culture and the society is considered backward. It is still a developing economy, not a developed economy, because of a weak governance, corruption, and so many problems with the polity. So it's a never ending loop. Okay, just understand this connection. This connection will help you in all the GS papers. It's not just about history, it's not just about modern history, it's about everything, whatever you read in the general studies. So at that time, you understand the later Mughal Empire will have a weak polity. Okay, unstable rulers, not having good governance. They were always fond of luxury only. So they were always busy in their own luxury and lifestyle. They spent on themselves by taxing the common masses. That's why there was no development during the later Mughal rulers. But what we are talking right now, we are discussing the time of Akbar, which is considered a golden period. Why? Because he ruled for 50 years, so a very long period of time, and he did a all round development. He was a very tolerant ruler also. So he decided to abolish the jizya tax, and he also decided that he will take care of art and culture, music, dance, painting, and architecture. Everything was there. Red sandstone was the most important feature of Akbar's architecture. Then came Jahangir. Jahangir never wanted to rule. Initially, it is said that he was not very interested in the polity, but by default, by destiny, he was chosen to rule. So Jahangir or Prince Salim, you must have read or heard about the story of Salim and Anarkali. Okay, that's a fiction basically. No historical records are there about Anarkali, but yes, he is the same person, Jahangir. So Jahangir never wanted to be a ruler, but he became the ruler. After Akbar, Jahangir was more interested in art. Okay, he was a ruler. He was always thinking about luxury and lifestyle. He also had a mind of bhog vilas in his mindset. But he was not like later Mughals, like destroying things and not taking care of the success which is already there. At least he took care of the success. And you can say that later Mughals journey is very similar to the rule of Jahangir, because he was also not expanding the empire, was not consolidating anything in the polity. But his wife, Mehrunisa or Noor Jahan, she was very dominant in the polity. Okay, and her father Itmaduddaulah was the Diwan. So that tomb of Itmaduddaulah, the tomb of Itmaduddaulah is the first tomb which was made by the white marble. So white marble used by Shah Jahan later, and that in the Agra, the way it was used in Taj Mahal is very much inspired from the tomb of Itmaduddaulah, which was made by Mehrunisa. Okay, so Jahangir was more interested in painting, so he never took care of anything else, just a simple going on with the flow. And initiated a new development in the painting, and similar art and cultural developments were going on. But then again, Shah Jahan came, who was a very strong ruler. If you remember, Portuguese, when they started piracy and other things in the Hooghly area, when they, before that particular time period, when they became so dominating during the rule of Nino the Kunha, and if you remember, they started cruel slave trade. So Shah Jahan only ordered that you should seize Hooghly, and there was a fall of Hooghly, and from there only Portuguese ran away due to the order of Shah Jahan. So Shah Jahan was a very dominating ruler, and he took care of art and culture also, and painting also. After Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb came. Now Aurangzeb is not considered a very great ruler, but he made a grand empire. We understand he was only doing the expansion, but due to the policies of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire declined. First of all, he was intolerant ruler. He wanted to convert India into a Muslim state. Second, he never liked Shia Muslims, and that's why the Deccan destruction happened during the time of Aurangzeb. 1707 is the date when Aurangzeb died. After the death of Aurangzeb, the course of actions which he did during his rule came as a reaction in front of later Mughals, and by that time the empty treasury was there. There was no money left, there was no power left, the army was indisciplined, there was a mansabdari and jagidari crisis, and that's why later Mughals started suffering. Okay, so due to the religious policies and harsh policies and destructive policies of Aurangzeb, later Mughals started suffering. Now, the problem is that Bahadur Shah won when he became the ruler. He was Prince Muazzam. He was also known as Prince Muazzam. When he became the ruler, he wanted to, erase those mistakes of Aurangzeb. He thought to reinitiate the friendly relations the way Akbar used to do. If you remember the time of Akbar, he had a very pacifist policy with Rajputs, with everyone. He was very tolerant and friendly with everyone. So he used to have a mindset that, okay, if someone wants to rule in their area, so let them rule and give them power, give them mansabdari, but it would be in the Mughal suzerainty. It would be under the Akbar's suzerainty. Same happened during Bahadur Shah. He also allowed Shahu to collect Sardesh Mukhi. So the taxes was now allowed by Marathas. So that's why Bahadur Shah is considered a person who took it in a very sincere manner, that he need to some work on some past mistakes done by Aurangzeb. So Bahadur Shah, he was a very old person when he became ruler. He was around 63 years old. So it was during the time of 1707 to 712 CE. So this is the first ruler. So I told you two key points about Bahadur Shah. Do you remember that? Two keywords which you remember, which you need to know about Bahadur Shah. Yes. Suganya and SV, you guys gave the right option for very first time that I saw in the comments. That's great. Ankit, you have asked about history optional guidance. Sure, I'll give you the guidance in the end, but I have already made many videos on it. You can watch it separately if you want. Okay. Right. So I just wanted to discuss 2 points with you about Bahadur Shah. Do you remember, guys? In the starting of the session. And those of you who have just joined, please like the video. You need to like it and share it, because if you want us to bring more courses for you and more books to be covered in the live classes, then you need to give the strength to this particular series and this idea. Then only the team will work and will bring new courses for you. Okay. So I gave you 2 points about Bahadur Shah, who ruled from 1707 to 1712. First was he followed pacifist policy, okay, peace policies with everyone. And he wanted to reverse the narrow-minded policies of Aurangzeb. Second is he released Shahu, the son of Chhatrapati Shambhaji in 1707. Why he released Shahu? Because he wanted to get a good relation with Marathas also, because he knew that Maratha power is rising. He also granted Marathas the right of Sardesh Mukhi, not Chauth. There were two taxes, Sardesh Mukhi and Chauth. So Sardesh Mukhi was allowed. Okay. Sardeshmukhi was allowed during the time of Bahadur Shah I. So he was a very old ruler, sincere ruler, wanted to have peace policy with everyone. Towards Sikh also, Bahadur Shah had friendly relations. He had good relations with Guru Gobind Singh. But after the death of Guru Gobind Singh, Sikh rose the banner of revolt under the leadership of Banda Bahadur. That's why Bahadur Shah, he need to start a war and stop that revolt which was initiated by Banda Bahadur. So that's why Mughal army under Bahadur Shah defeated the revolt led by Banda Bahadur and captured the fort of Lohgad, which was recovered by Sikhs in 712. But remember that Bahadur Shah defeated Banda Bahadur. Okay, he defeated Banda Bahadur and he followed peace policy. Okay, and he released Shahu also. Okay, Shahu, Maratha prince Shahu was released. Now we will connect this history, this story of Shahu with the Marathas, because I'll discuss Marathas also with you today. Then I'll tell you that who was Shahu, who used to be there after Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and how Chhatrapati Shambhaji and other rulers came. So there is a flow chart of Maratha family which I have made for you. I'll discuss that with you, and there I'll tell you that what will Shahu do, because Shahu now came out of the prison, so he will come back to recapture the throne of the Maratha Empire. So there he will have a clash with family members, and then due to that clash only the rise of Peshwa will be there. Okay, so the Peshwaship was not there in the Maratha rule. Okay, before Shahu's release, there was no Peshwaship. Okay, there was nothing called Peshwa, but he made a new post of Peshwa because he got help, okay, to get the throne. So I'll tell you that story, but right now just remember something that we will discuss about Shahu, who was released by Bahadur Shah. This much is only fine to remember about this first later Mughal ruler. Next is Jahandar Shah. Okay, I told you one key word about Jahandar Shah also. What? I told you something about Jahandar Shah. Do you remember? Voice is very low. I hope voice is fine. Is it fine, guys? Those of you who are watching it live, can you tell me if voice is fine or not? I feel it is fine from my side. You need to increase it from your side if it is low from your side, and if you have any internet issue, then only you will face any problem. Otherwise, no problem is there. Okay. Yes, it is fine. So I told you that about Jahandar Shah, you need to remember that he started Izara system. Izara system. Okay, Izara system was started by him. So basically, Jahandar Shah had a person as a finance minister who used to work under him. His name was Zulfikar Khan. Okay, Zulfikar Khan only gave the idea of Izara system, which is also known as revenue farming. What happens in Izara system is, let's say that I am a peasant, I am a farmer, and if I have a piece of land, but I have no money to start cultivation, right? Maybe because of my financial problems or any health issue, this land is a fallow land. I'm not able to grow anything. Then what I can do is I can give this land on rent to the government. Okay. So in the Zara system, the government used to take lands on rent by, taking it from those farmers who are not able to start the cultivation. And then government used to cultivate that area, and they will share the profit with the farmers. So this is something which is known as revenue farming. It was introduced to increase the agricultural resources and also the taxes for the government. He also abolished jizya tax. Okay, Jahandar Shah abolished jizya tax. And in 1711, he signed an agreement with the Marathas in which he gave right to collect the chauth in the Deccan area. Okay, so in this particular time, Mughals would be having a good, connections with Marathas, and there they will have a good idea of taxation also, that how the chauth and Sardesh Mukhi would be collected and divided. Even they appeased Churaman Jat and Chhatrasal Bundela. Okay, they followed a very strict policies against Sikhs, because after the defeat of their leader Banda Bahadur, Sikhs were not happy and they became a warring community. They developed Khalsa in a very strict manner. But other than Sikhs, other regions and regional rulers were in peace with Marathas. Okay, so just remember the name Zulfikar Khan with Jahandar Shah, that Zulfikar Khan used to manage everything. He was a finance minister. He wanted to improve the finance of the empire, and that's why he introduced the Ijara system, which is known as revenue farming. Okay, so Jahandar Shah is very, very important. Now, Jahandar Shah would be defeated by Farooq Siyar, who will become the next ruler. Okay, so Farooq Siyar will be the next ruler, because in Agra only Jahandar Shah was defeated by Farooq Siyar, and Zulfikar Khan was also executed. So now the next ruler is Farooq Siyar, who will rule from 1713 to 1719. Okay, so this is the next ruler. Look at the time frame, 1713 to 1719. If you remember, he gave Magna Carta to Britishers. Why? Because he was suffering from a disease and he had to get a surgery near his thighs, but there was no surgeon or doctor in India to cure this. But Britishers helped him in getting it treated, and the English surgeon helped him to come out of that disease, and that's why he was so happy that he gave Magna Carta. Okay, so now Farooq Siyar became the emperor. So when Farooq Siyar became the emperor, you should remember that he defeated Jahandar Shah. And how he became the emperor? He became the emperor by the help of Sayyid brothers. Okay, Sayyid brothers are king makers. Okay, Sayyid brothers are king makers. So the story of Sayyid brothers start from here. Sayyid brothers with Farooq Siyar. So two Sayyid brothers were there, Abdullah Khan and Hussain Ali Khan. So Abdullah Khan and Hussain Ali Khan, they used to consider themselves as kingmakers, because they used to replace, kill, and do things with the rulers whenever they wanted to do or whatever they wanted. So Sayyid brothers are also known as makers. So what happened was that Sayyid brothers helped Farooq Siyar in getting the throne. So Farooq Siyar also gave them a very important office of Wazir at Mir Bakshi. So they became prime minister and they became the prime advisor. So in 1716, what happened was Banda Bahadur was captured and murdered by Farooq Siyar. If you remember, he is the same Banda Bahadur of six. So he was captured and killed during the rule of Farooq Siyar. That's why this rule is again very, very important. In 1717, he issued a farman to Britishers, which became Magna Carta, which we have already discussed in the last class. I hope I don't need to repeat it. Okay? I don't need to repeat it, no? We have covered the Magna Carta in the last class. So I hope you remember that duty free trade was given in Surat, in Hyderabad, and in Bengal by this Farman to the East India Company. So company was allowed to trade in Bengal without paying any tax. Okay, he given the title of Nizam ul Mulk to Chin Kilij Khan, and Mansab of 7,000, 7,000 rank was given to Nizam ul Mulk, who will start Hyderabad. So you need to remember that who gave the title of Nizam ul Mulk to Chin Kilij Khan, the Nawab of Hyderabad, who will start Hyderabad. Okay, so what happened was same like Zulfikar Khan. Real powers were remained in the hands of Sayyid brothers because Sayyid brothers were more important and more powerful. So there was a powerful struggle between emperor and the nobles. Sayyid brothers were nobles. So basically, these Sayyid brothers wanted to handle more. So that's why when they saw that Farooq Siyar is not listening to these Sayyid brothers, they decided to kill Farooq Siyar. So Farooq Siyar was killed in 1719. Okay, he was killed in 1719 by Sayyid brothers only. So Sayyid brothers made Farooq Siyar ruler first and then killed him also. Okay, remember this. Now, Darajat and Rafi ud Daula are not important for us because they were opium addicts and they only ruled for few months. So these two rulers are not important for history. Okay, so just remember that Rafi ud Daula and Rafi ud Darajat are not to be studied and they are having no role in the history. So that's why we can leave the part. Okay, now come to the next ruler. We had Muhammad Ibrahim, who is again not important. If you can see, they ruled only for few months. That's why the time period is also very low. Okay. Now, next important ruler is Muhammad Shah. Okay, Muhammad Shah Rangila. He is very important. Now, why he got the title Rangila? That you can understand, right? With the name only we can get it that why he got the title of Rangila. Basically, he was having a very luxurious life. He was a person of a very rangile mizaj. That's why. So after these three rulers, Farooq Siyar, Rafiuddaulah, Rafiuddin and Ibrahim, they now decided, Sayyid brothers only, they decided that we can have a new ruler who can be who can be this Muhammad Shah Rangila. So during the time of Muhammad Shah Rangila, who is also known as Roshan Akhtar, became when he became the ruler during his time only, a very important battle, the Battle of Karnal happened. So basically, in the Battle of Karnal, Nadir Shah invaded India and he captured Muhammad Shah. So this defeat of Mughals during the Battle of Karnal exposed the weakness of the Mughal army, and it gave a good confidence to Britishers that they can also start wars against the Mughals and they can do whatever they want against Mughals. So it gave a different kind of confidence to the East India Company, uh, which is very bad for India, okay, which gave a very bad light to the Mughals also. So now understand that these Sayed brothers, they adopted a very tolerant policy. They even wanted to abolish the jizya and the pilgrim taxes. And they also followed the peace policies with Rajputs, Marathas, Jats, Mundelas. And they just wanted to have a good peaceful polity going on. And the Muhammad Shah rule will end by killing the Sayyid brothers, by killing Hussein Ali and his brother also, the Abdullah Khan. So they both were killed in 1720. And who helped him? Who helped Muhammad Shah Rangila in killing Sayyid brothers? Yes, Nizam ul Mulk. Nizam ul Mulk wanted to make his new house, his new state in Hyderabad, and he wanted some more powers. So Nizam ul Mulk only helped Muhammad Shah Rangila to kill Sayyid brothers because he knew that if Sayyid brothers could kill Farooq Siyar, then they could do anything. So Sayyid brothers are killed by Muhammad Shah Rangila. Okay, remember this. Okay, this timeline is very important. So they got killed in 1724. Nizamul Mulk, who helped Sayyid brothers to be killed, who helped Muhammad Shah Rangila to kill Sayyid brothers, he founded the new state of Hyderabad. That is also something which you need to remember. Okay, Hyderabad was initiated in 1724. Okay, so now understand that in 1724, when Nizamul Mulk was making Hyderabad and when he went to have a separate state in south, he was defeated, he defeated the Mubaris Khan with the help of Marathas. And Marathas also helped because Marathas and Mughals were now together. Okay, now after this development of Hyderabad, Nizamul Mulk, as the governor of Deccan, he became a very important person, and he started leading Hyderabad. So you will see foundation of three states. They are independent states, and they are coming out of the Mughal Empire, but they are very much connected to the Mughals. So we will see Hyderabad, the rise of Bengal, and the rise of Awadh. Okay, they did not challenge the Mughal Empire or Mughal sovereignty, but they became, very much detached from the Mughal rule. We had few independent kingdoms also, like Mysore, Kerala, Rajputs, and few new states were also there, like Marathas, Jats, Sikhs, that we will discuss. Okay, we'll come to it later. Just remember a very important date of 1739, when Battle of Karnal happened. Okay, during the time of Muhammad Shah. Battle of Karnal, 1739, when Nadir Shah came. Nadir Shah was from Iran. Okay, he was a Irani ruler, and after Nadir Shah, his successor will come, and then you will see the clash would be there. So Nadir, after the Nadir Shah, successor is Ahmad Shah Abdali, who will lead the third battle of Panipat. Okay, so we will discuss the third battle of Panipat and the successor of Nadir Shah. But before going to that, I just want to repeat few points about Muhammad Shah Rangila. First of all, he killed Sayyid brothers. Remember this. Second, during his time, the Battle of Karnal happened in 1739. Okay, and during his time, the Mughal weakness is exposed, and during his time only the Hyderabad is created. The House of Hyderabad by Nizam ul Mulk was created in 1724, because Nizam ul Mulk helped Muhammad Shah in killing Sayyid brothers. That's why. Now, next is Ahmad Shah Bahadur, who is not important for us. Then Alamgir II came. Alamgir II is somehow again fine, but he is also not a very good ruler. He was also not important. So, not important for modern history. Just remember one point, that during Alamgir II, Ahmad Shah Abdali came and invaded India. Okay, and he invaded for the second time, 1757, and then Alamgir II was killed by Idmadud Mulk, so he's not important. Now, next is Shah Jahan III, who ruled for just 1 year, nearly 1 year. He's again not very, very important. Now, why we are calling him Shah Jahan III? Because see, 1, 2, 3 is a title which we give to the rulers who take similar names to their grandfathers, so to have no problem and no issues later to understand the history. So just understand that he is again not that important for us. Then Shah Alam II is very, very important. Okay, Shah Alam II is important, and if you look at the rule, he is ruling for a very good period of time. So it's a fine time to understand his problems and things, like during his rule only the Battle of Buxar happened, and that's why it's very, very important. One more point here you need to remember is the rule of Alamgir II is something where we had the Battle of Plassey, and we had the invasion of the successor of Nadir Shah, Ahmad Shah Abdali. That's why the rule of Alamgir II is important. Otherwise, nothing else happened during the time of Alamgir II. Now, as we are discussing Shah Alam II, so just come to it. Look at the time period 1760 to 1806, and you know that in 1764 we had the Battle of Buxar. Okay, that's why this timeline is very, very important. Okay, so what happened during this time only, the defeat of Marathas in the Battle of Panipat happened in 1761. It was by Ahmad Shah Abdali. So Ahmad Shah Abdali defeated Marathas and killed the that dream of Marathas to rule the India. Okay, so just remember the date 1761, the last third battle of Panipat. Okay, Third Battle of Panipat, in which Ahmad Shah Abdali defeated Marathas. But see, this defeat of Maratha will not end the Maratha history. Marathas will continue. Okay, they will rise again. Then they will have clash with Britishers, in which we will see the Anglo-Maratha wars. We had three Anglo-Maratha wars, so we will discuss three Anglo-Maratha wars, which happened after the Third Battle of Panipat, which shows that Maratha Empire did not end. Okay, it did not end, but the ambition of Marathas to rule the entire India was ended. Okay, just that ambition was ended, nothing else. Now next is Akbar Shah too. Again, he is not important for us. Okay, just one point about him is that he gave the title of Raja to Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, nothing else, no other things was there. Remember that Akbar Shah too also had a very peaceful person. He also followed peace policies only. He never wanted to expand much, but during his time, the coins, the minting of Mughal coins were stopped. Okay. Now, last was Bahadur Shah too, Bahadur Shah Zafar, who ruled for a time of 1837 to 57, which is a 20 years time period. He is known for the revolt of 1857 because he was the face of revolt of 1857. He was very very weak and old at that time, and after the suppression of the revolt he was sent to the Rangoon prison where he died. Okay, and it was the end of Mughal empire. Just to remember, the first Mughal ruler, later Mughal ruler, is Bahadur Shah 1, and the last one is also Bahadur Shah. So Bahadur Shah 1 is the first later Mughal ruler, Bahadur Shah 2 is the last later Mughal ruler. So, like this, remember that it's easy that Bahadur Shah, from Bahadur Shah to Bahadur Shah, is the history of later Mughals. Fine. So, we have completed the idea of later Mughal rulers. Here, you have a question. You need to give me the right answer. This question is from prelims. British expansion and consolidation in India. Here, the question is, which one of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? Okay, does not apply means a false statement, you need to tell me. A. To maintain a large standing army at others' expense. B. To keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. C. To secure a fixed income for the company. D. To establish British paramountcy over the Indian states. Tell me, what do you think is the right answer? Let's see who can tell me. You need to tell me in the comment section, guys. In the comments, you need to tell me. Read it carefully. After this question, I'll tell you about subsidiary alliance and I'll discuss different wars. You need to tell that which statement does not apply the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley. If you don't know about subsidiary alliance, it was a system by which Indian princes came under the control of the British army. Okay, it was an indirect control. So Ashraf Kamal and Suganya Neha gave the answer B, to keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. Yes, that's right. But it is quite confusing with the C also, to fix income for the company. Why? See, uh, subsidiary alliance was also a kind of promise to the Indian rulers that we won't fight against and will also protect you against any foreign invasion, because they always had a doubt of Napoleonic invasion. Yeah, later they had a doubt of Russian invasion. Yeah, or if France and Russia can come together and invade India. So Britishers always had a doubt. And during the independence of India, they had a danger of Japan invading India. So they always used to be confused and doubtful about it. But it was not for their own protection why they started subsidiary alliance. Start subsidiary alliance, they gave a lot of promises to India, but it was to ensure a permanent army stationed around the state to have a good indirect control. Okay, so the mindset of Lord Wellesley was maintain a large standing army at others' expense, yes. To secure a fixed income, yes, because the army would be paid by the Indian ruler. To establish British paramountcy over the Indian states, yes, that's right. Now the question is, why these Indian rulers accepted subsidiary alliance? Why? And sometimes they themselves used to go for it and ask Britishers to write and sign this treaty of subsidiary alliance. You know why? Because many of the Indian rulers, they used to fight among themselves. They had territorial disputes, they had boundary disputes with other Indian rulers. And like they thought that it's not good to take help from the neighbors, but it would be fine to take help from the Britisher. This mindset was there always with the Indians, because Indians, they have this thinking of downgrading relatives and neighbors, right? Even today we have this. You must know that when relatives fight, when they fight in India, how the thinking is, how the neighbors when they fight, how they think about each other. So this uh, problem was always there. This problem of jealousy led to signing of many subsidiary alliances, right? I hope you agree. Okay, I don't see any questions till now, but एक क्वेश्चन है कि मैडम मुगल सल्तनत को जीपीएससी में से हटा दिया है, ऐसा कुछ कि we can't completely eliminate the study of Mughals from the history. It could be reduced, but it could not be eliminated completely because they had a very long period of ruling. That's why, right? Okay. Now let me come to the next important treaty, the Treaty of Allahabad. Okay, the Treaty of Allahabad is very very important. By this treaty, you can say that Britishers really got the Diwani rights in India, and they started to rule India in a very political way. The political power came in a very legalized manner to them with this Treaty of Allahabad, which we will discuss. How the treaty was signed, and it was signed with Nawab Shujaud Okay, and we will discuss how Nawab Shujaud will agree with few things in the Awadh, and how the Shah Alam II will be there. So let's understand the relation between Shah Alam II and Shujaud. But before going to that, one important point is here that I believe that you guys have a good idea about Battle of Plassey and Battle of Buxar. Okay, this is my feeling. I feel like that. Uh, but in case you don't know, for brief understanding, I'll just tell you what happened in these battles. Okay, but I assume that you already know, because it's a very easy point to understand, and we all know about these battles. So in 1757 we had Battle of Plassey, in which Siraj-ud-Daulah was the Nawab of Bengal, was killed. Was killed. Was not defeated, but was killed. By whom? By Mir Jafar. Why? Because Mir Jafar was the commander in of the Siraj-ud-Daulah's army. But Mir Jafar helped Robert Clive, because Robert Clive, governor of English East India Company, promised Mir Jafar that once he will kill Siraj-ud-Daulah, and once the Battle of Plassey, as, would be won by Britishers, then Mir Jafar can get the throne of the Nawab in Bengal. So to become the Nawab, Mir Jafar did this. Okay. So Mir Jafar was made a puppet Nawab. Became a puppet Nawab. Why? He killed Sirajuddin. Fine. Now understand that when Mir Jafar became the puppet Nawab, he revolted. It was like, I wanted to be a powerful Nawab. I wanted to rule Bengal. I wanted to take care of Bengal according to my wills and wishes. But you guys made me a puppet. That's why I just want you to go outside the Bengal. He even took help from Dutch. You remember the Battle of Hooghly, in which Dutch were defeated by the Britishers? We discussed it in the last class. Dutch, for the very last time, thought to come and help Mir Jafar and defeat English, but they were defeated. So ultimately, Britishers understood that Mir Jafar is a very problematic person, and he was replaced by Mir Qasim, son-in-law of Mir Jafar. So when son-in-law became Nawab, Mir Qasim, he promised Britishers that he'll not revolt like Mir Jafar and he'll take care of everything. Mir Qasim shifted the capital from Murshidabad to Munger. So first point is that he shifted the capital to Munger, and he started a gun making factory, a factory for arms and Munger only. When he established this factory, Britishers became very upset that why he is doing all these things. What is the intention of Qasim? Mir Qasim was like, no, I just want to rephrase the army and the bureaucracy. I want my own be with me. Uh, in reality, Mir Qasim never wanted to be a puppet Nawab, and he wanted to have a safe distance with Britishers, and he wanted to manage a separation, a line between the Britishers and the Bengal. So basically, at that time, Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, all these areas were together assembled and they were one. So Mir Qasim shifted the capital to Munger in Bihar. And then Mir Qasim decided that he will open the factory. But when he was asking for the accounts, the Ram Narayan, who was the finance, he was a diwan or he was handling the finances in the Bihar. He was not submitting the accounts after so many requests by Mir Qasim. So when he was not getting accounts by Ram Narayan, he decided to understand that who is backing him. Then he knew that East India Company is backing, and East India Company is backing all those people who are ambitious in the court and who could revolt against the Nawab. So then he, understood that in reality he is again pressurized to be a puppet, but he never wanted to be the puppet, and that's why he revolted. But he was defeated again and again. Then he decided to take help from Shah Alam, was the Mughal emperor at that time, and Shah-ud-Dawla, the Nawab of Awadh. Okay, so Shah-ud-Dawla was friend of Mir Qasim. Yes, he decided to help his friend, and he knew that in neighboring areas, if Britishers could do these things, then anytime they can come to Awadh also. The Awadh Nawab Shujauddaulah with Shah Alam too helped Mir Qasim in the uh, in the Battle of Buxar, which was there in the 1764. And in this battle, this was the real battle. I don't feel like the Battle of Plassey was a real battle. I don't, feel like calling it a battle because this was a conspiracy. There was no real battle in the Battle of Plassey. 1757, there was no real battle. It was just a conspiracy to kill Sirajuddaulah and make Mir Jafar the Nawab. But Battle of Buxar is the real battle in which the combined army of Mir Qasim, Shah Alam, and Shujauddaulah was defeated by Britishers. And by defeating them, they now decided to have the Diwani rights, and that's why they signed the of Allahabad with Shah Alam too. Now the question is why Shah Alam too came here and why he, helped Mir Qasim, why he helped Shujauddaulah, why he interfered in the Battle of Buxar. When the battle was with the Bengal, then what is the role of Mughals? Because I just told you that later on, Hyderabad, Bengal, Awadh, they all became very much independent. They came out of the Mughal suzerainty and they wanted to rule as per their own wishes. So they became regional kingdoms. So these regional kingdoms uh, had no influence of Mughals anymore. Then why Shah Alam II came? Why? The question is why. So understand that Shah Alam II was a greedy person and he had agreed to win Bengal again and control Bengal again. So to control Bengal again, he had a dream to get in touch with Bengal and the conquest again. So he thought that it's a good opportunity. Shah Alam too was greedy and he was thinking that it's a very good opportunity. In case we win, then we will be able to defeat Britishers and it would be a good chance to again recapture the power in Bengal and Bengal can come back under the Mughal throne, the Mughal suzerainty again, which is helpful for the economy of Mughal. So this wish of Shah Alam too made him join this army and lead the Battle of Buxar in 1764, where these armies were defeated. However, Mir Qasim was not killed in this battle, but he became a wanderer and then he died after a few years. In 1767, he died. And Shuja was also not killed, but Shah Suja signed a treaty with Britishers by which Awadh was made a buffer state, and Shah Alam too had to sign the Treaty of Allahabad, in which Britishers got the Diwani rights. So that's why from 1765, after getting Diwani rights of Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha, the company governors became Nabobs. Okay, like Nawab's anglicized version is Nabob. So they will become Nabob. And from 1765, they will start the rule in India and then they will introduce regulating acts and India Act and ultimately we will fight for independence. So the real modern Indian history starts from this date of 1765. Now you need to understand that what is the Treaty of Allahabad? What was there in this treaty? Basically, the Treaty of Allahabad was with, it is a combination with two people. Shuja-ud-Dawla was the Nawab of Awadh. Okay, with Shuja-ud-Dawla, Britishers signed a separate treaty because they wanted to make Awadh a buffer state. Why? Because they knew that in Awadh area, Ahmad Shah Abdali was also invading again and again. Marathas were also rising. So they knew that Awadh is a very complex location and they never wanted to have fight with so many regional powers. So a disputed area, a disputed location was there in Awadh, and due to this dispute, Britishers wanted to stay out of it. So to stay out of the dispute in the Awadh, they never wanted to protect Awadh. They never wanted to take the responsibility of this dispute between Ahmad Shah Abdali, Marathas, and regional powers. So they decided to make it a buffer state. What is the meaning of a buffer state? Buffer state means extra state about which you don't know what to do right now, but in case needed, you will be using it. Okay, like let's say in your notebook, if you are starting with a new notebook, initially in school time, what we use when we buy a new register on a new notebook, we used to leave the first and second page of the notebook and start writing from the third or the fourth page. Why? That first two pages would be in buffer as to make index or to write any content related thing or to make any other important note, anything. To utilize it later on, we used to keep few pages empty, the starting of the notebook. I don't know if you guys used to do it, but I used to do. So that is buffer. So like creating a space or making something be used in later, if you are not clear about the uses and the policies to be introduced at that area, you can just leave it for a while and decide about it in future. So to be safe out of the dispute, Britishers decided to make Awadh a buffer state, and they asked Suzaud Dola to surrender Allahabad and Kara to Emperor Shah Alam. Why? Because they never wanted Shah Alam to sit on the throne. Okay, they never wanted Mughals to sit on the throne of Agra or Delhi. They wanted them to live in a in a way where they are home present. Okay, just to use Shah Alam to as a rubber stamp. That's why. So they asked him to pay 50 lakh rupees to company as a war indemnity. War indemnity is the amount in which the party who loses the war gives money to the winning party, because they say that we never started the war, you only started the war, and you guys wasted our time, energy, and money. So you will repay as a compensation. You give us the war indemnity. So Britishers took 50 lakh rupees, and they wanted Shujaud to give Balwant Singh, Zamindar of Banaras, a full possession of his estate, because Balwant Singh was backing Britishers. So Britishers knew that in the local areas, these local zamindars and local thakurs are important, and they may help us in to rule India. So they had a very foresightness in their mind, and that's why they used to create these. Now, Shah Alam too, what he did, he agreed about few things in the Treaty of Allahabad. First, that he will only reside in Allahabad, because he took Allahabad from, Daud the Nawab of Awadh. And he will issue a farman granting Diwani rights, very, very important, Diwani rights to the company of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, to the East India Company, in lieu of an annual payment of 26 lakh rupees. So, the 26 lakh rupees would be given EIC, so that they could rule these areas and get the Diwani rights, and work for the Diwani rights to collect the revenue and the right over civil justice. A provision of 53 lakh to the company in return for Nizamat functions. Okay, Nizamat functions, because company will be taking care of these three locations, Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. So they will function the Nizamat orders there, and to do that they had to have some money in their hand. 53 lakh was taken by English East India Company from the pocket of Shah Alam too. So Nizamat functions military, defense, police, administration, justice. So you see, to rule India, they asked money from Indians only. Like Indian rulers will pay English East India Company to rule and to take care of the governance and control everything. This is so funny, right? This is a big irony of our modern Indian history, where we see that Indians were so helpless, right? They were so helpless. This problem was there. I hope you understood the Treaty of Allahabad. So, Treaty of Allahabad is the starting of the rule of English East India Company in India, and they will rule till the revolt of 1850. After 1857, from 1858, will have crown rule. Okay, so the time period from 1765 1858 is known as the company rule. After 1858, crown rule will start. Right now, what we will discuss? We'll discuss company rule. Okay, the rule of Britishers. As after the Treaty of Allahabad, they got power in India. Once they will get power in Bengal, they will try to get power in Sindh also, in the area of Sikh Empire also, in South India also, Mysore, in Maratha area, in each and every part of India, they will go, but they will move step by step. Okay, they will move very slowly. First, they captured Bengal. After Bengal, the eastern part of India is secured. Right now, they will go to South India. They will defeat Mysore, Hyderabad, Marathas. They already got the Carnatic area after defeating French, right? So now they will go to the South India. So let's understand how the movement is there. If I say dual government of Bengal, you need to understand what is dual government. But tell me if it is clear till now. Fine. Okay. Those of you who guys have just joined, please like the session. You have not liked it, and share it with your friends, because I want more than 100 live audience watching the every day. Okay, it gives us more energy to, bring the course, bring the newness, and take the classes on a very respectful way. You need to share it with your learners, guys. You need to like and share every time whenever you join session. Okay, I hope you have no doubts till now. If you have any doubts, let me know. Fine. So we will just continue, understand the dual government of Gaul. See, after signing the Treaty of Allahabad, when they got the Diwani rights in 1765, from 1765 to 1772, they had dual government in Bengal. Dual government means rule of two. Okay, rule of two. So Robert Clive, who was the Nawab, he introduced the dual system of government. Okay, so company exercised the Diwani rights because they got it by the Treaty of Allahabad. So, as a Diwan and having the Nizamat rights, they used to have function these Nizamat rights to nominate the deputy Subedar. Okay, because see, in the Nizamat functions, judiciary, police, defense, so many other things were there. And English, they were unknown to this area and this new place. They never knew about the villages and local areas. So, they had to follow it with the deputy Nawab or a person who is a Subedar, so that a person would be there to help Britishers. Okay, so that's why East India Company wanted to nominate a deputy Subedar who will help English East India Company to rule in the local area. Now, company acquired the Diwani functions from the Shah Alam too, and Nizamat functions from the Subedar of Bengal, because they only nominated the Subedar of Bengal. So this Subedar will take care of the local, governance and law and order. Now, because of this situation, a confusion got started, because Britishers never wanted to have responsibility. They only wanted power, but it's not possible, right? With power comes great responsibility. But in this situation, they wanted to shift the responsibility to the deputy Subedar, who is a puppet person. Now, this puppet would not be able to take care things. He would not be able to maintain anything because he's not having any powers. He's not having financial matters under his control. So that's why there was a very high level of fall in the economy of Bengal. And then when Warren Hastings came, he did away with this dual system. He ended the dual system of Bengal in 1779, because you will see that from 1773 we had regulating acts in India, and then Supreme Court was established, and process of centralization got started in India. And with time they will give more powers to the Bengal governor, and they will initiate the process of centralization in India after Warren Hastings. So just remember that Robert Clive started the dual government and Warren Hastings ended the dual system in 1772. Okay, now let's come to South India, where they will start their journey from Mysore, because English East India Company, after getting victory in Bengal, became very, very confident. They thought that they are having all the powers. They could do whatever they want. So this kind of confidence was there in their mind, and that's why they thought to initiate a new policy in Mysore. So Mysore is very important for us. I just want you to see it in the map first before we move ahead. Look at the map. This is Mysore. We had Mangalore here. The Treaty of Mangalore was signed, so that's why remember this location. Mahe is here. Again, very important. Goa is here. And this is the Maratha territory. Maratha used to be here, this area. This is the area of Nizam of Hyderabad. Okay, and if you look at this location, Madras, which was a very important port of English East India Company, Pondicherry, the French port, very important, and this area was known as the Northern Sarkars. Okay, Northern Sarkars. So basically, in the first Anglo-Mysore war, you will see that Northern Sarkars was, it was promised to the Nizam that they will get Northern Sarkars if they could help English East India Company in defeating the Mysore. So here is the policy of ring and fence. What is the policy of ring and fence? It's like ghero or fir maro. Okay, if you want to, uh, you know, if you want to kill someone, अगर किसी को मारना है तो उसको मारने से पहले what we should do is उसको पूरी तरह से चारों तरफ से घेर लो. So ring and fence, make a ring, make a fencing and consolidate the neighboring areas, make all the neighbors your partners and friends, and then attack on the person who is there in the center, and then you will be able to win. This kind of mindset was applied by English East India Company in the Mysore area. So to defeat Mysore, they took help from Marathas, they took help from Hyderabad, they took the help from the Carnatics also, they took help from Travancore also. This is Travancore here. So the if you remember, the king of Travancore was already a friend of English East India Company, which we have already seen during the third Carnatic War. So just remember that Travancore is in the hand of EIC. Hyderabad and Carnatic area is already in the hands of EIC. Marathas also came in the control of EIC, because Marathas, for territories, money, and resources, will attack on Mysore. And Mysore, why they all are attacking, on Mysore from all the sides? Understand? Because Mysore was powerful, Mysore was rising, it was expanding, it was spreading. So they had territorial disputes, boundary disputes with Mysore. They knew that Hyder Ali is rising. So to stop the rise of Mysore, to stop the boundary of Mysore, all these neighboring states, Marathas, Nizams, and Carnatic Nawab, the Nawab of Arcot, the Nawab of Travancore, all of them will help Britishers in the Anglo-Mysore wars. So before I start the new topic of Anglo-Mysore war with you, I want you to understand the history of Mysore. I want you to make very clear about the rise of Hyder Ali. So once you understand the rise of Hyder Ali, then you'll go with the flow of first, second, and third Anglo-Mysore wars. Why we are calling it Anglo-Mysore war? Anglo means English, English East India Company fighting against Mysore. In Mysore, we had two important leaders, Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. Okay, so first Hyder Ali. Let's understand the rise of Hyder Ali. So initially, there used to be a Vodeyar dynasty. Okay, the Vodeyar dynasty, the Mysore dynasty. What happened was there was a battle of Talikota in 1565. Okay, in the battle of Talikota, Vijayanagar Empire got defeated. It gave a deadly blow to the great kingdom of Vijayanagar Empire. So in South India, if you just remember the medieval Indian history, you will read it in medieval Indian history if you have not covered. Just understand, we had a Vijayanagar Empire and we had a Bahamani kingdom. Bahamani kingdom was there in the Deccan area. Vijayanagar Empire was Hindu empire. Bahamani kingdom was Muslim empire. Muslims used to rule. So there was a religious clash between these two empires, and there was a boundary dispute also. They had boundary disputes, they had boundary problems because both of them wanted to expand. So in Deccan, the Bahamani kingdom got disintegrated. Okay, and the sultans in the Deccan, they got divided. Ahmednagar, Bijapur, Golconda, Bidar, Berar, they all got separated. But whenever these these Deccan kingdoms, whenever they used to come together, they were known as the Deccan Kingdom, the Grand Alliance, Deccan Sultanate, the Grand Alliance. So in the Deccan Sultanate only, in the Bahamani Kingdom, when Bahamani Kingdom disintegrated, it was known as the Deccan Sultanate. Okay, and it was not easy to capture Deccan Sultanate and to go in and penetrate in the Deccan area. Even Mughals used to try it. Akbar tried to reach on the boundaries of Bahamani kingdom, but he could not penetrate. But Shah Jahan penetrated, and when Shah Jahan got Ahmednagar and Bijapur and some other areas in the Deccan Sultanate, he he thought that to govern it in a very nicely, he asked Aurangzeb to take care of this area. So Aurangzeb became the governor in the Deccan India. The journey and the career of Aurangzeb starts from Deccan only. Okay, and Aurangzeb knew that Aurangzeb and Mughals, they were Sunni Muslims. Sunni Muslims, they hate Shia Muslims. Okay, they used to hate at that time. Even today there is a clash. So Aurangzeb hated Shia Muslims, and as he hated Shia Muslims, so he just wanted to have a destruction in this Deccan area. He killed all the sultans and nobles, and there was a destruction of Deccan Sultanate. But under this Deccan Sultanate only, Marathas used to serve. Marathas were there in the army. Okay, so Marathas used to serve the Deccan Sultanate. They were not having any dynasty or power at that time. They only used to serve the Deccan Sultanate. But when Deccan Sultanate was destructed, these Marathas became independent. So Marathas came out of this Deccan Sultanate only. Okay, now understand and come back to the story of Vijayanagar Empire. Basically, Vijayanagar Empire and Deccan Sultanate, they Bahmani kingdom, they both had fight and clashes. Bahmani kingdom later became Deccan Sultanate. Now, when Vijayanagar Empire and these Sultanate rulers, when they had fights, so once there was a time when there was a battle of Talikota. It was the last ending battle where Vijayanagar Empire was ended. So it was in 1565. The date is very easy to remember, 565. Okay, so 1565, the battle of Talikota, when Vijayanagar Empire was destroyed. After the destruction of Vijayanagar Empire, it got divided into many small parts. Okay, it was divided into small kingdoms. What happens, like when the teacher is not in the class, or if there is nobody to decide things for you, you become leaderless. Sometimes people, what they do, they want, they become independent. They feel like being independent and doing things as per their own will. So still here you can see, after the death of this Vijayanagar Empire, the small kingdoms, many small independent kingdoms will sprang up, and Mysore was one of the kingdom which came after Vijayanagar Empire. Okay, just remember this. Now, uh, as we have understood that there was a deadly blow to the great kingdom of Vijayanagar in 1612. A Hindu kingdom under Vodeyars. Okay, Vodeyar dynasty was there, which emerged in the region of Mysore. So in 1612, when they came in the power, when they started rising, there was a very important ruler, Chikka Krishnaraj Vodeyar. Chikka Krishnaraj Vodeyar ruled it from 1734 to 1766, which is a very long period of time, and Mysore became very stable, politically very stable. But during the second half of 18th century, means after the death of Chikka Krishnaraj, the leadership got changed. Okay, and a very important commander, Hyder Ali, became a very important leader in securing the power in Mysore. After Hyder Ali, his son Tipu Sultan came. Now you see a difference. Hyder Ali is not using the title Sultan because he considered that he is not a sultan, he is a commander who is working and ruling in behalf of Vodeyar dynasty. But during the time of Tipu Sultan, he took title of Sultan himself. He declared himself Sultan, and he said, "No, I will not be like my father, who didn't take the post and power and the title of Sultan on his name. I don't want to be like him. I want to be a Sultan." Okay, if I am ruling everything, if my father only secured the Vodeyar dynasty, and if he is the one who expanded the Mysore, and the boundaries are consolidated because of him, then I am going to take this title of Sultan. I will not give it to any Sultan, because that time a minor son was there who could be on the throne, but Tipu Sultan rejected it. So that's why Tipu Sultan is Sultan, but Hyder Ali is not Sultan. Hyder Ali was only commander. Now, We are coming to the rise of Hyder Ali first, then we will discuss Tipu Sultan. Basically, Hyder Ali was in a very good friendship with French, and he took help from French to, train his army to get good arms and ammunitions. And he knew that European army is very disciplined, and European army is powerful. So he understood the fact that they should take help from French. Okay, so he was in good connection with French, but you know that Britishers and French, they were enemies. So if French are always fighting with Britishers, if they both are enemies, and if Hyder Ali will be in friendship with French, then Britishers will never like Hyder Ali, right? They will always want to kill Hyder Ali, to do something against him, because they knew that Hyder Ali is giving French access on the west coast, and French is somehow giving getting a lot of powers and help from Hyder Ali. So this connection, this friendship was not good in the eyes of Britishers. That's why they became enemy of Mysore. Okay, and Hyder Ali, he always used to took help from French. He took help from French for everything. Now he used to maintain a fort in Dindigul. There was a garrison in Dindigul where arms and ammunitions were kept. So he took help from the French also to set up a arms factory there. And Dindigul is now in Tamil Nadu. And he also introduced Western methods of training because he wanted his army to be more disciplined and organized. So to train his army, he took help from French. Now, during this time only, when Indian rulers used to take help from Europeans, and sometimes they used to hire European soldiers also. So when Indians used to go for any fight, and whenever they wanted to have organized soldiers, better army, better skills, they used to take some soldiers, European soldiers, on rent. Sometimes from French, sometimes from Dutch, or sometimes from Britishers. So there was this tradition of taking soldiers on rent whenever Indians needed. This tradition was changed with a new name as Subsidiary Alliance, in which Britishers knew that we are having a good army, we can give protection to Indian rulers. So whenever they will ask for protection, we'll send the army and will ask the Indian ruler to pay this army. Otherwise, the army can seize the territory. Okay, so this permanent stationing of British army in the Indian provinces started the idea of subsidiary alliance. Okay, now here you can see that Hyder Ali is in a good friendship. Now what happened? Britishers, they knew that Hyder Ali, is in friendship with French, so they decided to initiate their ring and fence policy. So in the first Anglo-Mysore war, they took help from Marathas and Nizam. Okay, so what secret alliance was there? Just understand it. English East India Company with Marathas and Nizam, all of them coming together to fight against Hyder Ali and defeat Mysore. Okay, but Hyder Ali somehow came to knew about this. He came to know about this secret alliance. He understood that there is something wrong, and he paid Marathas to be neutral. He paid Nizam also. Like he promised Nizam that I'll never attack on you. Don't worry, you are my friend. Don't help English East India Company. I'll share territories with you in Northern Sarkars. He, in his area, he just made them neutral, and he tried that no neighbor is fighting against him in the first Anglo-Mysore war. So this is the diplomatic skill of Hyder Ali, okay, who already understood the secret alliance and the intentions of Britishers. He knew that he need help from neighbors, and that's why by paying Marathas more, made Marathas neutral, and that's why Marathas never attacked on Mysore in the first Anglo-Mysore war, and by promising Nizam that there would be no wars in the future, no battles, no overpowerment, and no territorial disputes. Even we can share things together and maintain a good diplomacy. The Nizam will also not fight against Mysore. Nizam will also not come against Mysore. So that's why English East India Company during the first Anglo-Mysore War won't be able to defeat Hyder Ali, because for 1.5 year the war continued, and they were tired. English East India Company and soldiers, they got tired that why are we not able to defeat anyone, because Marathas and Nizams secretly they were not helping, and that's why English East India Company lost the first Anglo-Mysore War, and there was a treaty signed, which was the Treaty of Madras. Okay, so before I come to it, let's understand the entire scenario. The background is English East India Company, they concluded a treaty with Nizam of Hyderabad in 1766 and persuaded the Nizam of Hyderabad that if Nizam will help, then they will get northern sarkars. Okay, Nizam can get northern sarkars, the coastal areas. Okay, so by this promise, English East India Company took the help of Hyderabad. Okay, in lieu of which they said that they would protect Nizam from Hyder Ali, because Hyder Ali was spreading the empire and rising very ruthlessly. English East India Company also paid Marathas to turn them, you know, to turn them in their side. But when Hyder Ali understood the secret alliance, he paid Marathas more, and Hyder Ali made Marathas neutral. Hyder Ali promised Marathas that he will never attack Marathas and there would be a good friendship. Also, Hyder Ali promised to share the conquered territories with Nizam. So Nizam also became neutral. Okay, so Nizam and Hyder Ali, they became ally. They are now in friendship. So Hyder Ali then joined the Nizam to attack the Nawab of Arcot also. So somehow he knew how to follow the diplomatic skills to win the areas in Arcot, to get some more powers around the boundaries, and then the war started. So during the first Anglo-Mysore War, which is from 1767 to 1769, easy to remember, 767. Okay, first Anglo-Mysore War, 1767. So in the first Anglo-Mysore War, after 1.5 year, when no result came, the armies were tired now, soldiers were tired now. So when Hyder Ali saw that now English East India Company is very tired and confused in this complete chaos, he suddenly appeared on the gate of Madras. So when Hyder Ali reached on the gate of Madras, Britishers became horrified and confused that what this person is doing. So as you know, like if you don't remember, I just want you to understand the role and importance of Madras. For Madras, they had Carnatic wars against French, right? The Anglo-French rivalry, the Carnatic wars, which we covered in the last class. It was for the Madras, right? So Madras was a very important position. So Hyder Ali, when he appeared on the gate of Madras, suddenly it made Britishers very, confused, and it was a complete chaos when they were not able to win the war, and they never wanted to lose Madras. So they decided to have a peaceful treaty. So Hyder Ali was like, I'll not sign a treaty with you. You are just a company. You are English East India Company. I can sign a treaty with your queen, because see, I consider myself as a ruler. I don't want to sign anything with you. But EIC now, they decided that okay, now let's not fight and let's have a peace, so we can sign a treaty. So the Treaty of Madras was signed. So there was a complete chaos and panic when at Madras, Hyder Ali suddenly appeared on the gate of Madras. So it forced English to conclude a very humiliating treaty, okay, with Hyder Ali, and it was on 4th April 1769 when Treaty of Madras was signed. In this treaty, it was provided that exchange of prisoners would be there, and mutual restitution of the conquests is going to be there. They will be, in friendship, and Hyder Ali was promised the help of English in case he was attacked by any other power. So Hyder Ali was also happy that now he can feel secure, that the European army is always there to help him. The English army is always there to, help Hyder Ali in case he is attacked by any other power. So he was very happy. But what happened was he never got help from English, because when Marathas attacked Hyder Ali, they got no help from English, and that's why Hyder Ali was unhappy that in reality this treaty was not followed by the English East India Company. Okay, they never followed it seriously. That's why the second Anglo-Mysore War happened. So it was during the time of 1780 to 84. In between, only in 1782, Hyder Ali died due to cancer. Okay, and so in the second Anglo-Mysore War, we will see that the first phase is by Hyder Ali. After his death, Tipu Sultan will continue the second Anglo-Mysore War. Okay, now understand the background. Basically, Hyder Ali accused English of the breach of faith. Why the breach of faith is there? Because according to the Treaty of Madras, he was promised to get the help of English army. But when in 1771 he was attacked by Marathas, he got no help from English. English failed to come to his aid. And even he saw that French are more helpful. So that's why through Mahe, a French possession on the Malabar coast, you know, the French war materials were coming. Okay, so as you know that during the American War of Independence, America was asking for independence because America, the first colonies, of, when the colonization got started, when Britishers initiated this, they discovered America and they had 13 colonies on that particular area, which became USA later. So there in America they had 13 colonies initially. So Americans now wanted independence and they got support from French also. The French ruler used to support Americans. Why? Because French used to be jealous of Britishers. They wanted to defame and downgrade Britishers, and to defeat Britishers they helped America in the American War of Independence. In this American War of Independence, French and Britishers are in opposite sides. Okay, that's why during this time, when on Mahe, so many French war materials were brought to Mysore, British Britishers became very upset, and it horrified East India Company that how could he do so? How dare Hyder Ali could give access to French, and that's why it broke out in the war, and in which French were on the side of rebels against the English in this particular American War of Independence, and that's why. So English East India Company wanted to capture Mahe because on Mahe only the French war materials were coming. Now, when they wanted to capture Mahe, Hyder Ali regarded it to be under his protection. So Hyder Ali was unhappy, and this is something which started the second Anglo-Mysore War. Okay, because Hyder Ali considered the English attempt to capture Mahe as a direct challenge to his authority, and because of this challenge, they started the second Anglo-Mysore War, which is from 1780 to 1784. In the second Anglo-Mysore War, again Britishers were not able to win. Okay, Hyder Ali initially he defeated the English East India Company, and he died in between in between this war only in 1782 by the cancer. After cancer, his son Tipu Sultan took over, and Tipu Sultan continued the war. So now Tipu Sultan defeated English East India Company and signed the Treaty of Mangalore. Okay, the Treaty of Mangalore was signed that now there would be peace, no problem, and nothing would be there, and we will be finalizing things in a very good way, and then things were secured. But again, after few years, third Anglo-Mysore War happened. This time, Hyder Ali is not there, only Tipu Sultan is there, and the third Anglo-Mysore War is why? Because English East India Company, they could not digest two losses in the first Anglo-Mysore War, in the second Anglo-Mysore War. They lost a lot of, you know, power, prestige, money, and that's why they wanted to have a war. So they were just waiting for an excuse. The excuse came by Travancore. Why? Because see, look at this map. Travancore is here, Mysore is here. Okay, there is no relation of English East India Company in Travancore, but in this area, Travancore had purchased Jalakotal and Kannanur. Okay, it purchased Jalakotal and Kannanur from the Dutch in the Cochin state. If you remember, Dutch also came in India. Later on, they went to Indonesia, but before shifting to Indonesia, they were selling everything off. So they sold Jalakottal and Kannanur, okay, in April 1790. So Tipu Sultan declared war against Travancore. Why? Because it was against the restoration of his right. He considered that Cochin is the feudatory of Tipu Sultan. Okay, Tipu Sultan had the control, you know, of the feudal rights in the Cochin area. So, without asking Tipu Sultan, buying something in his dominion, in his area, was very bad. So, that's why he started the war against Travancore. But Travancore was the friend of EIC. So EIC was like, okay, you are fighting against my friend, so I'll also come and fight. So this is just an excuse for EIC to start a new war because they wanted an opportunity to kill Tipu Sultan to get the area of Mysore, and they already had two losses. So this time they tried again. And during this course of war, English, they sided with Travancore, attacked Tipu. In 1790, Tipu defeated English under General Meadow. Okay, he defeated. And in 1791, they again continued. So Cornwallis took the leadership with the large army. They marched through Ambur and Vellore to Bangalore. They captured all those areas by March 1791. And from there, they reached Srirangpatnam, which was the capital of Mysore. So Coimbatore fell to them, but they lost it again. And last time, English East India Company thought to take help from Marathas and Nizam again. This time, English East India Company with Marathas and Nizams were able to defeat Mysore. They attacked Srirangpatnam for second time and they were able to defeat Tipu Sultan. So, in the first and second Anglo-Mysore war, English lost. But in the third Anglo-Mysore war, they got the victory. Why? Because of Marathas and Nizam. Only because of them. Now, this alliance of Maratha and Nizam worked with EIC because EIC promised them to share territories after the gains. Now, because of this particular third Anglo-Mysore war, Tipu Sultan lost half of his territory in Mysore. There was a treaty, the Treaty of Srirangpatnam. It was signed. So, in the Treaty of Srirangpatnam, under this treaty of 1792, nearly half of the Mysorean territory was taken over by victors. Paramahal, Dindigul, and Malabar went to English, and these three areas are very, very important. If you remember, there was a very important fort here in Baramahal. In Dindigul, there was a garrison which Hyder Ali used to maintain, and he, took help from French also to maintain this factory of arms and ammunitions here. If you remember, in the starting of this topic, I told you. And Malabar was also very, very important due to its coastal areas and resources. So, English took the most important areas. Okay, important areas came under English, and they gave bad areas and unimportant locations to Marathas. So Marathas got regions surrounding the Tungbhadra area, which was a fertile location, and its tributaries. And Nizam acquired the areas from Krishna beyond the Pennar river. So they also got some important areas, but not very important. The most important areas were under the control of English. So here Marathas were also offended because of this. Marathas were like, why we came here? We supported you, we helped you in the war, we helped you in defeating Tipu Sultan, but you guys are not giving us good region. So Marathas were also quite offended, but they could not do anything. Now the problem is this is not just about regions, okay? For a father, his family is very, very important, right? And Tipu Sultan was upset not just because he lost half of his territory, but there was a war indemnity of 3 crore rupees imposed on him. He was only able to give half of the amount, but half of the amount was not with him. So he said that I don't have money, but I'll pay you in installments. Okay, slowly I'll give you. I'll give you the entire amount. Don't worry. But EIC was like, no, if you can pay the entire amount, then fine. If you can't pay, then we will take both of your sons into the hostages until you pay and clear all your installments. So this is such a humiliating treaty, you see, that they are defaming a father downgrading him in front of his sons, right? And think about the mindset of Tipu Sultan at that time, the condition and the situation of kids who are taken into hostages. They were taken into hostages just to get the installments on time, okay, like a collateral, like a item or slaves. So it was a very bad treatment which happened with Tipu Sultan. So a war damage of 3 crore rupees was there, and half of the war indemnity was to be paid immediately. But Tipu Sultan was not having the entire amount, so he used to say that I'll give the rest of the amount in installments, for which Tipu's two sons were taken as hostages by English, and yes, they were in prison, not in prison but in a house arrest. They were taken, and it was a very bad treatment. But no worries. Tipu Sultan very soon released both his son, paid the entire amount to English. After few months only, he was able to, get it done, and he released his son. But the problem is not that he released. The issue is that the treatment was very very bad. Okay, so here you can see that after the third Anglo-Mysore war, Tipu Sultan is still alive. He didn't die. He released his son also, but he lost a lot of land. Okay, now after the third Anglo-Mysore war, fourth Anglo-Mysore war happened. Now you must be thinking that now why the war is there. Okay, first was to because Hyder Ali was in friendship with French. Second was because French got some access on the west coast during American War of Independence. Third war was because Tipu Sultan started a war against Travancore, because Travancore purchased Jalakotal and Kannanur in Cochin state. Now why fourth? See, there was no reason. English East India Company was just waiting for an excuse. They just wanted to start a war. They just wanted to kill Tipu Sultan. So they were just waiting for it. Now they got a new opportunity. Basically, what there was that Tipu Sultan, he used to send emissionaries to different foreign states. He was maintaining his own foreign relations. And during the French Revolution, he also planted the tea of liberty, and he was a part of a very popular club, a very popular French club. So this French friendship made Britishers very jealous, and they charged Tipu Sultan. They made a charge sheet and they charged him against going the government and doing something very anti-national, and that's why they started a war, which was the fourth Anglo-Mysore war, in which Tipu Sultan was killed. Okay, so in 1796, when the Hindu ruler of Vodayar dynasty died, if you remember, the Vodayar dynasty, on behalf of him, Hyder Ali was ruling. Okay, so when he died, Tipu refused to place Vodayar's minor son on the throne. He was like, why should be a son of Vodayar dynasty should be there on the throne, and why this minor son? He is so small, he won't be able to rule. I will rule. So he declared himself Sultan. So first of all, Tipu Sultan, when he declared himself as Sultan, it made English East India Company very upset. EIC was like, why he is being Sultan? He is considering himself to be so powerful that he could do so. So a charge sheet was filed against Tipu Sultan that he was plotting against English East India Company, and with English East India Company again. Now the triple alliance of English, Nizam and Marathas, they all came together, and they started saying that something bad is happening in Mysore. So they were saying that Tipu Sultan sent emissaries to Arabia, Afghanistan, Kabul, in to Zaman Shah in Kabul, and Ice in France, Mauritius, Versailles. So somehow it was shown that Tipu Sultan is planning something, and he is planning to initiate an invasion in India against Britishers to end the British power. And that's why this treasonable intent was highlighted, and by this fake charge sheet they wanted to kill Tipu Sultan and start a war against him. But Tipu explained that no, this is not the real thing. I am maintaining my own relations. You are taking it in a very wrong way. I have no intentions to initiate any invasion in India. I'm not taking help from anyone. I'm not plotting anything negative. But Wellesley was not happy. He was not satisfied. He was like, no, I will just start the war. So that's why the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War happened on 17th April 1799, and it was ended on 4th May 1799 when the fall of Srirangapatnam happened. Srirangapatnam was the capital. Okay, it was the capital of Mysore. So Tipu Sultan was defeated here for the very first time. Okay, it was for the first and the last time when he got the defeat by English General Stout and then General Harris. Okay, now at this time, Arthur Wellesley is considered a very good general, okay, by the English army. So basically, he was the brother of Lord Wellesley. He also participated in this war. English were again held by Marathas and Nizam, due to which they got the victory. The Marathas had been promised to give half of the territory of Tipu, and the Nizam had already signed the subsidiary alliance. So, according to the subsidiary alliance, if any English ruler, if any Indian ruler signs it with the English, they need to help them in all the kinds of war and any kind of situations. Tipu laid down his life fighting bravely. His family members were interned at Vellore, and his treasures were confiscated by English. Okay, and the English chose a boy from the earlier Hindu royal family of Vodiyar dynasty to be declared as the Maharaja, and also imposed subsidiary alliance on them. Okay, so ultimately Britishers, they wanted subsidiary alliance imposed on Mysore, and they did it with the help of that minor son of Vodiyar dynasty. And what is this subsidiary alliance? We have already discussed. By subsidiary alliance, the Indian ruler will, accept the permanent English army around the territory, and it would be paid and maintained by the Indian ruler. The ruler could not go with any friendship or war or battle without the permission of Britishers, and English resident used to permanently stay in the court of that Indian ruler to spy on him. So all those provisions were there in the subsidiary alliance. Okay, so basically Nizam, after this fourth Anglo-Mysore war, got the territories of Guti and Guram Konda. English took possessions in Kanara, Wayanad, Coimbatore, Dwarpuram, and Srirangapatnam. The new state of Mysore was handed over to the Vodeyar dynasty. The ruler was Krishnaraj III. He was a minor who accepted subsidiary alliance. 1831, William Bentinck took control of Mysore on the grounds of misgovernance, and in 1881, Lord Ripon restored the kingdom to its ruler. So there was a, you know, political instability in Mysore, and it was always in control of EIC. Later on, that after the after the battle, or after the revolt of 1857, when good governance came to India, like with the name of good governance, basically, Britishers, they decided that they will not take away the territories from the Nizams and Nawabs. So they, started giving them back to their rulers and establishing the old princely states back. And ultimately, princely states got a lot of power till independence also, and after independence also they got choice that they could join India or Pakistan. So yes, this kind of thing was there in Mysore also, as a princely state was there, right? Now let's come to the new topic, which is Anglo-Maratha struggle. So to discuss Anglo-Maratha struggle, we need to understand the Peshwa dynasty. Okay, Peshwa dynasty and the family is quite confusing. If you read Spectrum, you'll see that so many names are there, and they are getting repeated again and again, and you don't understand the connection. Okay, so the new topic we are starting is Anglo-Maratha War, and to know about Marathas, we need to know the Maratha family and who were Peshwas. I told you one thing about Marathas when we were discussing Bahadur Shah 1, okay, who became the later Mughal ruler in 1707. So what he was doing? He released a person. Do you remember that? He released a person, a very important person. What was the name? Yes, Shahu. Shahu was released. Okay, Right. So we will discuss that only. We will discuss that part of Shahu when he came, how he started a new office of Peshwa, okay, how the Peshwaship was started, and who were the Peshwas, and how the Peshwa dynasty was there. Because this is very important. If you understand this chart, you will understand the entire Maratha history. Do you want me to start this discussion? Let's discuss this chart and then we will end the session. After this chart, we will end because we have a lot to discuss. We need to discuss the Anglo-Maratha struggle. We will discuss Anglo-Maratha wars, okay, how it initiated, how the Maratha family was there. First, we will cover tomorrow, okay. But before I come to this, I want you to understand this chart. Are you guys ready? Okay. Please read the chart carefully before I come to the explanation. Let me have some water and then I'll tell you. You need to you need to encourage me in the comment section. You guys are not motivating me at all. You need to say something. Yes, okay, it's fine. Are you guys enjoying? Is it helpful? If you have any doubts, tell me. You don't talk to me, then why are you guys coming live? If you don't want to talk, if you don't want to discuss, then we will upload these sessions. I can record it and then we can upload it generally the way so many videos are there on YouTube, the way it is always uploaded on the channel. So if I'm live, I am there to talk to you, right? I want some interactions, but you guys are not talking to me, which is very bad. I am a very talkative person, so I want you guys to talk and discuss things with me. Okay, so let's start now. Peshwa dynasty. First of all, what is Peshwa? What is the meaning of Peshwa? Peshwa is like PM, having all the real powers. Like today, we have President of India, and Prime Minister. So, President is not having all the real executive powers, right? The executive powers are with PM. He is like the executive head, right? But if we say that who is the head of the state, who is the head of the state? Then president. Like president is supreme power, right? He is the head of the state. He is the highest, governing person in India. Like if you look at the polity, he is the first most important citizen of India, right? But he is just head of the state because India is a republic. We don't have any dynasty or monarchy ruling here. So we have a elected head of the country. But president is not ruling. In reality, Peshwa is ruling. In reality, PM is having all the powers. He is the real, he is having the real executive powers. He is the real head of the council of ministers, right? So he is dealing with everything in reality. So similarly, in the Maratha Empire, there was Maratha Confederacy. So Marathas, what they did, they divided the entire Maratha Empire into different parts, and different head of the families like Gaikwads, Holkars, they manage their own regions in their own way, so that there is no dispute and fight among the family members. Clear? Now, what happened? If you remember Shahu was released from the Mughal, prison by Bahadur Shah. So when Bahadur Shah, the later Mughal ruler who was there in 1707, when he came, he released Shahu because Mughals wanted good friendship with Marathas. So when Shahu came back, no, he saw that he could not be on the throne. Why? Because he was having no power, and he had some family disputes also going on. So to get some powers, Shahuji Maharaj, he was helped by Balaji Vishwanath. Basically, he was an accountant. Okay, he was like a CA. Okay, so he just used to manage accounts. But Balaji Vishwanath was very, very clever. He was clever. He helped Shahu to regain the throne of Marathas. Okay. So, as he helped Shahu, Shahu promised Balaji Vishwanath that he will start a new post in the Maratha Empire, which is the Peshwa post. And Peshwa will have all the important powers. And this is going to be a hereditary post. So you will be the first one to start it. And after you, I promise that your family would be happy. And as you only made me the uh, powerful again, and you helped me in regaining the throne again. So I just promise you to be happy in your entire life, and all your families and generations would be having the power till the Maratha Empire is there. Okay, so this promise was there. So Shahu promised Balaji Vishwanath and made him Peshwa. Balaji Vishwanath ruled from 1713 to 1720. If you look at Balaji Vishwanath, he had two important, sons, Balaji Rao I and Chimaji Appa. Here you see Chimaji Appa is there, and he had a son, Sadashiv Rao Bhau. But Sadashiv Rao Bhau died in the third battle of Panipat in 1761. Okay, so because of this, there is no importance of this particular line, because Sadashiv Rao Bhau was died in the third battle of Panipat. And you know that the third battle of Panipat in 1761 was against Ahmad Shah Abdali, which we have just covered, right? Ahmad Shah Abdali from the Durrani Empire, you know, he only was there in the third battle of Panipat, which was in 1761. He defeated Marathas. Before this defeat, Marathas, they were rising like anything, and they were very supreme. Even there was a time when Mughals also started taking help from Marathas. Marathas were collecting Chauth and Sardeshmukhi. Now, here you see that in this particular part, this chart is ending very soon. It's very short. So, this part is more complex. Now, come to this part. Baji Rao 1. If you have seen that movie, okay, Baji Rao Mastani, no? If you remember that movie, try to understand it from there. You can connect it. So, Baji Rao 1, he was the one who was known as the firing Peshwa or flying Peshwa. He only started a thing known as Hindu Patpat Shahi. Hindu Pad Path Shahi. What is the meaning of Hindu Patpat Shahi? Understand. Like today, if you see the Indian polity, there is a term which is getting very famous, right? Like we can see that they make a map of India in which the neighboring countries are also included in the map of India. Okay, have you seen that map? What do we call it? In which Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka and other neighboring countries are shown inside the map of India, and it is shown as the one India, one nation, one country. Bharat Mata is there on that particular picture, right? So Akhand Bharat, we call it, right? Akhand Bharat. That idea of Akhand Bharat was given by Akhand Bharat. That idea of Akhand Bharat was given by Baji Rao I. Okay, he used to call it हिंदू पद पथ शाही, मीन्स हिंदुओं का परचम हर जगह लहराएगा, हिंदुओं की ही गुणगान होगी, और जो भगवा रंग है वो हर जगह होना चाहिए. तो दिस इज हिंदू पद पथ शाही. व्हाई? सी, basically Peshwas are not Kshatriya. According to Varna system, according to the Varna philosophy, if you remember, in the ancient time it was decided that Kshatriyas will rule. So Shahu is Kshatriya, right? Shivaji Maharaj, he was Kshatriya. So Kshatriya are rulers, but these Peshwas, they were not Kshatriya, they were Brahmins. right? They were Brahmins, they were pure Sanatani. So they were following their own religion, their own, belief system. So, as Brahmins, they wanted Hinduism to flourish and spread and expand more and more. So, whenever they used to go to a place or win a area, they used to, hoist a orange flag there. According to this idea of Hindu Padshah, these Marathas, they placed a Kesaria flag on the Atok fort. Atok fort is in the Afghanistan where Durrani Empire was there. Okay, it is in the northwestern side of India, Atok fort. So when the Atok fort, when they hoisted the orange flag there, Ahmad Shah Abdali understood the intentions of Marathas, and that's why he came to defeat Marathas. And third battle of Panipat happened, where the Sadashiv Rao Bhau died. At that time, Sadashiv Rao Bhau was not very mature. He was a very young guy. Okay. However, Baji Rao I was taking care of everything. So after Bajirao won, we see that there is a problem. What is the problem? Can you see that we are having two sons, Raghunath Rao, Raghoba, and Balaji Baji Rao. Because of two sons, the dispute will come. It's like Mahabharat, where two family, two members of same families are fighting. Similarly, you will see after Baji Rao won, Raghunath Rao wanted to be the Peshwa. Okay, Raghoba wanted to be the Peshwa, but he could not become. Why? After Bajirao won, you see, he died in 1740. His son, eldest son, Balaji Bajirao became Peshwa. He was more able, okay, he was more powerful, he was more clever, and he had a very good mindset. So, because of his leadership quality, he became the new Peshwa, as the Peshwaship was a hereditary post. As Shahu, during the time of Balaji Vishwanath, he decided that this post is going to be hereditary. Nobody will take away it from you and your family. So, as per this, second Peshwa was Balaji Baji Rao. Balaji Baji Rao ruled for more than 20 years, from 1740 to 1761. Okay. Now, Balaji Baji Rao, if you see the date 1740 to 1761 and the date of Sadashiv Rao Bhau, when he got killed, you will understand that this is the time when the planning of third battle of Panipat was going on. Okay. After few months of the battle of Panipat, third battle of Panipat, Balaji Baji Rao died. He didn't die in the battle, but after the battle he died. Okay, now you will see that after his death, Madhav Rao I, eldest son of Balaji Baji Rao, became the Peshwa. So number one is, I'll just write it here so that it's more clear to you. I'll just make it with the black color. Number one is Balaji Vishwanath, who became the first Peshwa. After him, number two is Baji Rao I. Okay. After him, third number is Balaji Baji Rao. Okay, he's the Mastani wala. Okay, Baji Rao Mastani wala Balaji. Okay, after him, fourth one is Madhav Rao I. Okay, Madhav Rao won after the third battle of Panipat, regained the Maratha supremacy again in the India, and he started conquering more and more lands. He wanted to get the glory back to the Marathas after the third battle of Panipat. So he was a very powerful person. He was doing very well. But when he was ruling, his uncle Raghunath Rao is sitting. Right? He is the Chachaji. So he is sitting, he is waiting for the opportunity to be the Peshwa. But he could not become the Peshwa because it was a hereditary right. After the death of Peshwa, only his son can become the Peshwa, not the brother. Okay, this was the problem. So after Madhav Rao, he died due to TB. Okay, he just got that disease and he died. He died in 1772. Okay, after Madhav Rao, next Peshwa was number 5 is Narayan Rao. Narayan Rao ruled for 1 year, but when Narayan Rao was ruling, Raghunath Rao became impatient because he was sitting since so long. He was waiting from that time of Balaji Bajirao. He thought that after Balaji Bajirao, I will get the power. But he was not having a good leadership quality. So he was just waiting. After Balaji Bajirao, Madhav Rao one became the Peshwa. Again he was waiting. So he is unhappy and waiting. But after the death of Madhav Rao, because Madhav Rao died due to TB, his brother Narayan Rao became the Peshwa. So Raghunath Rao is still unhappy and waiting. So now he became so impatient that he decided to kill his nephew Narayan Rao so that he can become the legitimate Peshwa. But when he planned this murder, Narayan Rao's wife, Gangubai, she was pregnant. Okay, Gangabai. It was not known to Raghunath Rao. Raghunath Rao thought that once I kill Narayan Rao, then I can only become a hereditary ownership. I can only get the hereditary rights to become the Peshwa. So he just planned a murder. He killed Narayan Rao. Okay, he just got him assassinated. After the death of Narayan Rao, his son born. How his son was born? Basically, when the murder was planned, during that murder only, Narayan Rao's wife, Gangabai, she was pregnant. So she gave birth to a son after death of her husband Narayan Rao, and the son was known as Savai Madhav Rao Narayan or Madhav Rao II. Madhav Rao II, because this is Madhav Rao 1, so he is Madhav Rao II, or in short you can call it Savai. Okay, Savai Madhav Narayan Rao. So the son of Narayan Rao was born. So everyone was like, no, Raghunath Rao cannot become Peshwa because it is a hereditary right. So after Narayan Rao, Savai should become the Peshwa. Savai Madhav Rao Narayan should be the new Peshwa. So that's why Raghunath Rao was unhappy. To, get the throne, he thought to start a war against his own family, for which he needed army. So he took help from English East India Company. Okay, he went to Bombay East India Company and signed a treaty with them. Okay, the Treaty of Surat was signed. So Bombay East India Company with Raghunath Rao signed the Treaty of Surat. Why? Because English East India Company thought that it's a good way to penetrate in the Maratha family and break the Maratha Confederacy. Because English East India Company, they always wanted to have some power. So they were waiting for an excuse. Now Raghunath Rao himself went and signed the Treaty of Surat with EIC, by which he got 25,000 soldiers, and he also got this assurance that English East India Company is always with Raghunath Rao. But this treaty was cancelled by Calcutta Council. Why? Because if you remember, Calcutta Council was supreme, and there were three presidencies of EIC in Bengal, one in Bombay, and third in Madras. So Bombay, Bengal, Madras. So in Bombay, the Treaty of Surat was signed with Raghunath Rao without taking permission from Calcutta. So it's not possible, no, because Calcutta Council was supreme among all these three presidencies. So Bengal's governor ordered that this treaty is not fine and we should have a new treaty. So Colonel Upton came and he signed the Treaty of Purandhar, in which they cancelled the treaty of Raghunath Rao and signed a new treaty, Treaty of Purandhar, with this new small infant Peshwa. Now the question is that how this infant Peshwa was signing the treaty and how he came into this picture. See, he was assisted by Bara Bhai led by Nana Fadnavis. Bara Bhai, led by Nana Fadnavis. Very, very important. Understand this. Okay, what is this? Basically, 12 chiefs, 12 Maratha chiefs together, their council was known as Bara Bhai. Okay, and their leader was Nana Fadnavis. Nana Fadnavis was a very mature man. He only used to decide everything for the council. Everyone used to follow Nana Fadnavis. So, Nana Fadnavis with Savai, infant baby, small baby, born after the death of his father, signed the new treaty with the Calcutta Council, because Calcutta Council rejected the Bombay's treaty with Raghunath Rao, and he decided to stay in peace with EIC, not going for any war, and they declared that we will share few territories also and few taxes also. So a peace came there. Okay, but that I'll tell you when we will discuss the first, second and third Anglo-Mysore war. Okay, right now I'm not discussing the wars with you, I'm just discussing this timeline with you, because I'll discuss the names like Raghunath Rao, I'll tell you about Narayan Rao. So when I'll say Narayan Rao and when I'll discuss the murder, you should not have this confusion in your mind that who was Narayan Rao, yeah, who was Madhav Rao. So just to have that clarity, because tomorrow I'll discuss the Maratha wars with you. So just to have that clarity, you need to understand this flowchart. Okay. Okay. Now understand. After Narayan Rao, Vishwas Rao became Peshwa for a very short time. Okay, but it was just for a short while. He was not having a good power. One more point here is that the first Anglo-Maratha war was because of Raghunath Rao, and the second Anglo-Maratha war happened because of Baji Rao too. So you may think that why Baji Rao too? Because Raghunath Rao was replaced very soon, after few months only. The son Savai, that baby Savai Madhav Narayan Rao was born, and Narayan Rao was murdered. So how it is possible that Raghunath Rao became, after Raghunath Rao, Baji Rao too became the Peshwa? So it became possible because this new baby, Savai Madhav Narayan Rao, at a very young age, he committed suicide. Okay, when he saw that, when he understood the real problems and family disputes and things like that, he was not able to manage and cope up with it. So he committed suicide, and as there was no legitimate heir remaining, so the son of Raghunath Rao, Baji Rao too, because of his destiny, became the Peshwa. But he was also very much irresponsible, and he was not listening to anyone. During his rule only, Nana Fadnavis died, and due to the death of Nana Fadnavis, Baji Rao too became very furious and irresponsible, and he started fighting against his own family members, started killing his cousins, and that's why a problem got started. Okay, so after Baji Rao too, you will see that Nana Sahib, adopted son, he will have, he gave the name of Nana Fadnavis. And here Raghuba Rao's second son Amrut Rao was there, who had Vinayak Rao as the adopted son. So we will discuss that also. We will discuss the role of Vinayak Rao, we will discuss the role of Narayan Rao, and this entire timeline is going to be discussed during the Anglo-Maratha rivalries. But whenever I'll take a name, you just need to remember. Okay. So how can you remember this chart? It's a very easy trick to remember. That, see, first you all know that Balaji Vishwanath. Okay. With the name, we can understand that a new Vishwa, a new thing, a new world is getting started, that the Peshwaship is going to be there. So Balaji Vishwanath was the first one because he helped Shahuji, because when Shahuji was released by Bahadur Shah, the Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah, he came back to regain the throne, and he was helped by Balaji Vishwanath. Right? After Balaji Vishwanath, Baji Rao one came. Okay, so Baji Rao one, first Peshwa. After Baji Rao one, Balaji Baji Rao. So Balaji is Dadaji's name, and Baji is father's name. So they used to keep the names by combining the name of Dadaji and Papaji, right? So combining the name of grandfather and father. Balaji, Baji. Copy, paste. Balaji Baji Rao. Okay, like this. If you see here, Madhav Rao, Narayan Rao, the son of Narayan Rao is Madhav Narayan Rao, or Madhav Rao Narayan. So they used to just repeat the name of their grandfather and father again and again, like this. Here you can see that Baji Rao too is the name given to the son of Raghunath Rao. Why? Because Baji Rao one was the, he was the firing Peshwa. He was a great Peshwa who started Hindu Patpat Shahi. That's why, right? That's why. So he just, people thought that he can become something like him, but he never was like that. And he only signed the Treaty of Bassein, due to which the Maratha power declined, and ultimately it came under the control of EIC, which we will discuss tomorrow. So tomorrow we will start with this new topic of Anglo-Maratha struggle for supremacy, and I'll discuss three Anglo-Maratha wars with you. Uh, Till today, this is enough. We have covered a few important topics related to later Mughals. We discussed Mughals, the history of Mughal, the history of later Mughals. We covered a Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, the Treaty of Allahabad, dual system of Bengal. We have covered the Anglo-Mysore War, first, second, third, fourth, and we have discussed Hyder Ali Tipu Sultan completely. We discussed the flowchart of Peshwa and the family. Now we can cover the Anglo-Maratha War very quickly. So we will do it quickly in the next class. Fine. So I hope I can end the session now. Treaty of Purandar, I will, explain, Neha. See, basically, I'll do it tomorrow. Why? Because it is a part of your first Anglo-Maratha war. But as you have just asked it, so I'll just give you a short idea. Okay, but don't worry, this topic is going to be covered in the tomorrow's lecture. Okay, but I'll give you a good idea that because you have just asked about it. Basically, Raghunath Rao signed the Treaty of Surat with Bombay East India Company, the Bombay Presidency. But Bombay was having no power to sign the treaties. It was not supreme. It was under the Calcutta Council. So, without taking permission from Bengal, without taking permission from Calcutta, Bombay signed the Treaty of Surat with Raghunath Rao, which was of no use, as it was cancelled by the Calcutta Council. So, Calcutta Council, they sent a new colonel, Colonel Upton. Colonel Upton came and he signed the Treaty of Purandhar. As per the Treaty of Purandhar, it was decided that EIC will not support Raghunath Rao. They will not give him any kind of thing. If Raghunath Rao needs pension, then Marathas can give him a pension, and they will always be in friendship, and they will not declare war against each other. The soldiers which they gave to Raghunath Rao should be taken back, and few areas were, shared. The taxation was shared so that a good friendship is maintained. So this was the Treaty of Purandhar. After this Treaty of Purandhar, again the second battle happened. The second Anglo-Maratha war happened, in which you will see the battle was there in the Talegaon, and it is a very complex understanding. So just to make it more clear, I have made these slides for you. I'll come to it tomorrow. Don't worry. It is going to be discussed in a very detailed way, because we will discuss the Maratha family, we will discuss the Maratha Confederacy, and then we will discuss, how these people had different treaties. So what was the provisions of Treaty of Surat? What was the provisions of Treaty of Purandhar? It is going to be there tomorrow. Okay, then we will discuss the course of war in the second Anglo-Maratha war. So here also the treaty was there. After the Treaty of Salbai, the Treaty of Bassein came. So we will discuss the Treaty of Bassein also. Okay, second, third, and fourth Anglo-Mysore war. Everything would be covered. So you just assured, I have already, made these slides for you to ensure that nothing is missed. And after Marathas, tomorrow we will cover the conquest of Sindh also. Okay, we will discuss this one also, the conquest of Sindh. Okay, so tomorrow I'll try to cover Marathas, Sindh, Afghans, and few neighboring countries of India, and then we will be able to cover the part of Ranjit Singh, the Treaty of Amritsar, the policy of ring and fence. All these things would be done. Fine. Now I'll come to your doubts. Do you guys want me to take any ask me anything session or a doubt clearing session? If you want, we can keep it on Saturday. Okay, because I feel like from Monday to Friday we can have a daily lecture series, a class of spectrum in which we will do it chapter wise. But on Saturday, every Saturday, we can keep a doubt clearing session in which I'll just take your live doubts. We will just interact, and if there is anything related to book list, strategy, or any other subject, if there is any chance of doubt in your mind, then you would be able to discuss that with me, and we can connect on each and every Sunday. So if you want, I'll ask the team to create this ask me anything session on each and every Saturday. So let me know if you need it. Otherwise, we can just continue the series as it is going, chapter wise, and we'll do a new chapter on Saturday. So it is up to you the way you want it. First of all, you just need to follow a strategy that at 8 p.m. I'm coming live, right? So it's a 2 hour session every day. So 8 to 10 p.m. you would be watching me live. But see, it's a 2 hour session, and you know that when we are there in a live class, we go slow, we move slowly because we treat it as a offline session. We don't feel like it's working on YouTube. You are watching it on YouTube, but I have an intention of taking it in a very intention, the way I teach it in the offline classes. So that's why I be very slow and I repeat things with you. In case you get any doubts, you would be having time to comment, and I'll be having time to see the comment and reply you back. That's why we are slow. But I want you to watch it again by increasing the speed twice. On YouTube you have this feature, twice the speed, and watch it again on Saturday. So what you need to do is, uh, Monday to Friday we are having this session, no? So Monday to Friday you'll just watch the live class, fine. And after Friday, on Saturday, I'll not take any new lecture because revision is also important. So you just revise all the 5 lectures again on double speed and write down all your doubts after revision. Come live on Saturday at 8 p.m. and then discuss it with me. Then only you would be able to utilize this series in a good way, right? It's the best way to, uh, you know, retain things, where we can discuss entire content again in a very short way. What I'll do is, on Saturday I'll keep all the slides together of the 5 sessions, and we can have a marathon, so that a quick coverage is there, a quick discussion is there, and it would be helping you in securing good marks in prelims and mains. So do you want me to do that on Saturday? Let me know. Or what we can do is, option 2 is, we can just continue and do a new chapter on Saturday. So we will make it a series from Monday to Monday to Saturday, in which daily a new lecture is there. So which option do you want? You want to go with the option number 1 or 2? Write it in the comment section so that I talk to the team and we work on it, right? Because I need to plan my weekends accordingly. So let me know in the comments that how you want to continue. Okay. So revision is something which you all want. So I'll discuss with a team if we can have a revision class on every Saturday, where we can have a revision and ask me anything session in which we will revise the entire content and we'll also do a doubt clearing part. Fine. So thank you so much guys for coming live. Thank you so much for watching it. I'll see you guys again in the next class. See you then. Take care. Bye bye. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Be on time. Be live. See you. Okay. Bye bye. Have a great day.